All right. Well, welcome to already segment number 3 of our regional celebration, April 9th of 2024. This is your Jackie's bringing you many special guests tonight. And we're excited to bring you who we now have dubbed as our JAFRA Social Steve. So we get to bring to you one of the 3 Nancy Dutzman, and Carl Dutzman was involved, children. And this is our wonderful Stephen. We had him in quarter 1 and you loved him so much. We wanted to bring him back. And he followed in his mom and dad's footsteps. He is also a father of 3 fabulous children, married to Miss Jenna. And so we are so excited to bring you again to talk about keeping engagement in your groups, and really what do we do with that today with social media. So without further ado, help me welcome Mr. Social Steve back to JAFRA.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that welcome there. Wow, my face just got really big on my monitor. I did this last time, and I'll do it again briefly, just to give you guys a little bit of my story. So for those of you who are some faces that I recognize, not including my mom, I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I was one of my siblings who was actually around when my mother started doing JAFRA, and I remember it being a core part of my life, upbringing, etc. It was always there. It was always contributing to every vacation we ever went to. And on some level, I think it contributed to my entrepreneurial spirit and the fact that I always knew that I was going to be able to do something like this. I didn't know what it was. My mom and I used to talk about it. Like, what was I going to do? Turns out I'm going to talk about stuff. I guess I got that from my dad. He's a preacher. So I get to, this is my sermon. Today we're going to talk about empowering your business through Facebook groups. So let me go ahead and share my screen because I do have some slides. Let's see here. Let me know. Did that come through?
You got it.
So if you remember the last time I was here, my logos and all my stuff was all red. I was commented. I had some folks comment that was a little aggressive. So now it's all blue and orange. You're going to make fun of me because it makes you think of the Mets. I'm sorry. But it's not. I just wanted friendly and nice colors. So let's get started. So Facebook groups are more important now than they ever have been. And I know it's easy for me to say that because I'm just some dude on the internet. But the numbers actually kind of back that up. These are quotes from Buffer. If you remember me from last time, you know I talked about them. And Sprout Social. Both of them have some quotes here, and I'll read them. But for the most part, the top Facebook groups on Facebook have like an 80% engagement rate, which means you post a thing and 80% of the people in that group respond to it, interact with it, etc. Which compared to organic social content on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, etc., that average is bananas. You couldn't pay for that on Facebook or Instagram, no matter how much you wanted to spend. Buffer put it best, and I actually really appreciate it. Said groups are the new news feed, and that's absolutely true. If you look at your Facebook right now, especially if you use groups, the majority of the posts that you'll see, especially if you're in a lot of groups, are going to be from those groups. I'm in dozens of them across all of my interests, and that's most of what I see. And that's on purpose for me. That I like to consume content from people who share interests with me. I won't share the groups I'm in because I can imagine that none of you would care. However, I think we can do that at the end. But I would say that the people that you would invite into your JAFRA themed Facebook group, especially people that you know that you have a connection with, etc., or people that you incentivize to join, they're there on purpose and they know what that group is for. And you can use the tools inside Facebook groups to cultivate those relationships. And cultivating relationships equals more money. That's like the whole thing, right? That's what we do in network marketing. So here's three things you can use your Facebook group for. You can use it to build a community, right? You put people in there and they're going to see you as an authority. They're going to build a relationship. They're going to build trust with you, and they'll be loyal. And loyalty is important. We all know that. I mean, Vicky just did a whole thing, right? She's talked for a whole bunch of time about how she builds loyalty in her customers, and all fantastic stuff. You can do that in Facebook groups digitally as well. And so we'll talk about some ways to do that. You can also use Facebook groups to gather feedback and insights, right? Like these are your trusted compadres. These are your friends. These are people who you can trust to respond, right? And so you can ask questions. You can give them your ideas and see what they have to say. People who are in your group, especially people who you've established a relationship with, are more likely to, if you make a gaffe, right? If you suggest something that maybe they don't like, they'll tell you, but they won't hold it against you. And because they know you're in here, you're in this group, you're being a human being, and those relationships matter. And the last one, increased visibility. The reality is, if all you have is a Facebook page and all you do is post on your Facebook page once a day or once every other day or something like that, your reach is going to be limited significantly. And what's worse is some of that reach will go to strangers, which on some level is good, right? You want to expand your network, but it's hard to leverage that. Whereas within your group, all those people are there on purpose. They're people you invited or incentivized to join. So you can get a little bit out of that and leverage that for all the reasons why we're here. So how do you do it, right? I gave you a whole bunch of reasons why you should have a group. Let's talk about how to do it. The first thing is you have to post regularly. I know that this is the apple a day keeps the doctor away kind of stuff. Social media doesn't work unless you do the media part. And so I talked last time, and some of you might hear this as summer reruns, and so I apologize, but you may think posting on social media is not, it's not something that is really your thing, or you might question it. The market does not really care about what you think about social media. The market states that people love to buy stuff that they from people on social media, and especially people that they trust and have relationships with. Even if those relationships aren't super real, there are people who I have that I don't know that I consume their content on a daily basis, and I buy everything that they sell. Parasocial relationships are powerful, and so the key to all of that is posting regularly. And when I say regularly, I thoroughly believe that the best way to make a group function is you should be posting some kind of content at least 5 times a week. Now, that doesn't mean post the same thing 5 days a week. And really, that doesn't mean post the same things week after week. There's some strategies, but you want to post regularly, largely because if it's a dead group, people will leave or the algorithm will deprioritize it in their feed. So it needs to be an active group, and you're the first line of defense to keeping your group from going away. So some ideas for regular posting: weekly themes, weekly challenges, right? Sharing resources. All of the people in this room are experts at what you do, right? You wouldn't be in here by accident. So about JAFRA products, what they do, but also how to be a human being that would rely on these products for what you use them for, right? And so you can give people advice and give them resources. You can talk about the opportunity. I mean, JAFRA has a ton of content that you can borrow. You pay for it, so you may as well use it, and you can certainly use that in your groups. And people love games. I mean, my understanding and my experience from being around this organization a long time is that parties were a huge portion of it, and that market has obviously changed, right? But Facebook groups can be a digital version of that. If you take some of the things that you used to do when you were just going to somebody's house and doing a party and just digitize it and just be creative with some of the games you used to play and some of the things you used to talk about and the questions you would ask, you can turn those into social media posts on a Facebook group. And it's almost like you're running a party 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with way more people than you could reasonably fit in some stranger's living room. So definitely just kind of use that, pick your own brain, and think of that. The next thing is, member involvement. The people in your group also are aware that they are on Facebook. And so ask them questions, encourage them to ask questions, and, do be interactive. You can just come out with a, what are you doing? What's everybody doing this weekend? Does anybody have any summer vacation plans? You would think, that's not necessarily on topic, but the reality is that is the kind of stuff that would come up in a casual conversation among friends. And you can do that. I run a Facebook group that is dedicated to geeky parents who want to play games with their kids. That's my Facebook group that I run. And our most popular piece of content is something that is literally scheduled, and it goes out every Monday at 6 p.m. And it asks everybody, what games did you play with your kids this weekend? And every week, everyone wants to share pictures. They want to share what arcade they went to, the board game they set up, the final score of whatever game their kid beat them at or whatever. And admittedly, probably not super relevant here, but just to give you an idea, people love to talk about what they're doing, especially if it's fun. And so encourage people to ask questions and give them excuses to talk about fun stuff. They'll do it, and engagement begets more engagement. And lastly, special events. You guys know all about special events. This is a special event. Facebook has a lot of tools where you can go live in your Facebook group, totally can. And you could just sit, just like half of you are in perfectly, well, I can't say half because there's only like, 7 or 8 cameras on, but I would bet that half of you are sitting in a room that is perfectly fine for going live on Facebook and just talking about stuff. You guys have new catalogs, you have new specials, you have all sorts of new stuff. Mayim she gave you all the text you need to say to talk about one of those fragrances. You could do that. You could do a Q&A. Just ask me anything and just talk about JAFRA or, any of your experiences. Again, people like to interact with people who have, that they trust and that they have a relationship with. But then, other photo contests, and, you can play games. You guys have products that you can ship to people, right? Play games, have people submit a cool summer vacation photo and, pick a winner, pick multiple winners, right? There's lots of options. And really the idea here is Facebook is not that different from real life. So stuff that you would do in person or at a party, or, if you were dealing with a large group, if you just imagine how you could do it digitally, which is really not that different. You're just typing instead of talking most of the time. You can get there. That's I wanted to leave a bunch of time for Q&A at the end. And they told me not to yammer for an entire hour like I did last time, because Jackie told me at least 2 people fell asleep. So we don't want to do that. So I will open up the floor to questions if anybody wants to. But actually, before I do that, I do want to say I have a little special offer for everybody today. So I talked about my newsletter last time. And I did have a handful of people sign up. I would like to say that anyone who signs up to my newsletter today, and I'll give the link to Jackie so that she can put it out. Anybody that signs up for my newsletter, and I know the link, by the end of this week, I will send out a bunch of files to you with templates for welcome messages and how to set up your group rules and things like that, so that you can actually optimize your group, even if you already set it up a bunch of times ago and forgot about it or whatever. But we can basically have you either set up or optimize your group, and I'll give you a whole bunch of stuff if you sign up for my newsletter. And if you already signed up, there was like 7 or 8 of you. I know who did, and I'm gonna send you the thing anyway, so you're good. I know who they all are. My mailing list is small enough that I can still do that. I think in like 2 or 3 months, I won't be able to. It'll be too hard. I have to make a special JAFRA mailing list thing. So anyway, enough yammering. Who has questions for me? I will answer anything.
Okay, I'm going to have you stop sharing your screen, and we're going to come back to your audience if you don't mind, please.
Hold on. Let me figure out how to do that.
The red stop share button should do it.
Oh, you know what? It moved to my other monitor. Okay, yep, there we
There you go. Perfect. Okay, audience, you have them live. Questions? I have Mona trying to ask a question here.
Okay, question. Okay,
Yeah.
I have 90 in my consultant group, and I do all the I try to get them engaged, and 7 will like or respond. How do I increase the? I mean, are they seeing it? I don't know if they see it. There's 90 there, but only 7 or 8 show up.
So, I mean, that's a good question. First of all, 7 out of 90 isn't terrible. I mean, so I will say the fact that you post something and 7 respond, that's actually pretty good. Obviously, it's not 80. These other groups are bananas. There's a couple of ways that I would approach that. One, I would try different kinds of content because different people respond to different stuff. Some people like big information. This is your consultant group, right? So this is your team.
Right.
So some of them might be there just to do, hippy dippy yay rah rah stuff, right? And just want to celebrate and party. Some people may want real hardcore information. I would vary your style, and try that. If that doesn't work, and if varying your style does not work, I would actually, I would actually do a like a whole week where every day you talk about maybe you do some kind of a you do some kind of a promotion for like lurkers or something, and like really come up with something, and just because that's what they are, that's what they're called on the internet, in internet parlance. Somebody that's in a group and reads everything but doesn't talk, they're a lurker. So you want to talk to those people, and so just literally put up content that's specifically designed to speak to the people that are there watching. And you could just straight up ask, hey, I post a lot of stuff in here. You're in this group. Is there something I could say that would be more valuable to you? Or are you happy to just listen? I have a friend who is in one of my groups who literally never, ever comments on or likes anything, but he reads everything. And so every time I see him, he's like, hey, remember that thing you posted on your website 3 weeks ago? I want to talk about it. So some people, they're still consuming the content, even if they don't respond.
Okay.
So does that answer your question, Mona?
Yeah, totally. Thank you.
Great.
Love it. Okay, we have another one. So this comes from Tucky. How do you balance incentive-based interaction with organic and keep them responding and knowing that they're generally interested?
Sure, it's tough. That's how do you manage incentive-based marketing versus organic? If I had the universal answer to that, the Jackies could not afford me to come on here, but we can talk about it at a high level. One of it is you have to. I would not. This is. I'm gonna pause for a moment and start again. I need more coffee, is what I need. Even though it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock there. What are you doing?
I listen, I have work to do when I'm done with this. So part of that is when I say incentive-based, I don't think that it's a great idea to give away, the farm for incentive-based stuff. You have stuff that is of value that is relatively low cost, and in some cases may even be free. For example, if you have, it could just be that maybe you just do specials in your group. And so being in the group is incentive based, because if you're not in my group, you don't have access to these cool specials that I do, or you don't get first information. And frankly, you might miss it if you're not in there. That's incentive based, even though it doesn't necessarily cost you anything up front. So I think that's one way to approach that. Now, how do you deal with people that, you do a really big giveaway and get a bunch of people into your group and then they just sit there? Giveaway bloat is a social media problem, right? My website, a bunch of years ago, we gave away a Nintendo Switch, like the first year they came out. And our social media sites got blasted with all sorts of people that just wanted a free Nintendo Switch. And a lot of them were there just for that. And then they kind of unfollowed us. So they were just there taking up space, shrinking our engagement rate. And it was disheartening. That there's going to be a little bit of that. Some people are going to participate just because they want the free thing. I think part of that is accepting that that's just how marketing works. Some people are really only in there for the short term. But that puts the onus on you in that if they were interested in your thing, especially if your thing was a product that you give them access to, that is still an opportunity to build a connection with them. If it still doesn't work, I mean, then it doesn't work. And, some people are not, don't really participate in that stuff. But I have confidence in the people in this digital room because none of you are here by accident. You didn't trip into leadership in a sales organization. And part of the core responsibility of this role, right, is that you are good at building relationships. I can say that knowing none of you except, well, okay, I can't say none because I know 4, but I am comfortable saying that you're good at building relationships because you do this, right? If you were bad at building relationships, you would have given up on day 5. And I'm guessing for some of you, this is well past that. So I think that's a long-winded answer, but that's how I would handle it. Is kind of manage the way you handle incentives. The incentives don't have to cost you money, and really, if they came in because of an incentive, it's on you to really try and build that relationship. I have confidence that if that relationship could be built, you would be able to do it. I think half of you guys could build relationships with a brick wall.
Well, and I think, to your point, the value isn't necessarily the incentive. It's you, it's the advice, right? And so if you look at the group and who's in the group, what is it you want to advise them on? Like, what is their value they're getting from you? If you're go join. I always say join other groups, just like you were saying, Steve, right? Join other groups that you have similar likes to and watch what the best groups are doing and sort of get some models behind you so that you see what attracts you to engaging in the group. Or, I'm in groups I don't engage with, right? But I'm in there, but that doesn't mean they're doing a terrible job. But I'm in, some groups I'm interactive with, some I'm not. So I think it's always best practice to experience things and pay attention as the consumer of that group and know what would you want to deliver to your group. So we have a question. I'm going to twist it here. We have a question about how often do you use at everybody, or highlight now is a new word we're seeing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't like it. I would avoid it unless this is my rule of thumb. I would use it no more than once a week. And I would only use it if you were highlighting something that is of specific value, of a limited time, that they cannot miss. Meaning, if there's some kind of a, JAFRA thing going on that's like a 24-hour sale or something like that, right? Like if it's listen, guys, if you miss this, it will suck for you because you're gonna be, there's gonna be that FOMO that you're gonna be missing it, right? In that case, yeah, use the at everything, because what's gonna happen is everyone's gonna get that push notification. They're all gonna come to it, and then if they see that it was a limited time thing, even the people that bristle at that notification, which all of us that are on Facebook have seen people complaining about it, at least then they'll know, okay, in this group, it's only used when it is a limited time, super valuable thing. If you just do it because you're adding everyone for your Sunday fun day post or your Monday how you doing, I that's not going to go well. The only other exception would be if you had promised to deliver something to the group. For example, if you had a big old discussion and you said that you were going to gather some information and bring that back and post it to the group. For example, if you did a live and it was going to get turned into a video or something like that, I would then go back to that original post and reply to all of your followers on that original post with the content. It's one of those, it's a tactic that they're gonna see through what you're trying to do. So you just have to be very deliberate about how you use it. And if it's obvious that you're using it because it's to their benefit and not just you trying to get their attention, I think that will overcome most of the people who are really grumpy about it. The reality is some people just going to be grumpy and there's not much you can do. And I feel like if you're going to be grumpy, then maybe a fun group of people that want to talk about cosmetics and skincare maybe is not the place for them. So I don't know. But I'm not you, so I don't get to decide. You could also just never use it. If you hate it that much, like if actually typing in @everyone makes you cringe, and you really makes you anxious. And there are absolutely some people that I talk to that are like, I can't. Every time I do it, I feel like I see my mother getting mad at me. And I'm like, well, then don't do it. It's not a required tool. Facebook existed for years without it. You're just going to have to post about your stuff more often and accept that people are going to miss them. That was a long-winded answer, but I hope we got there.
Perfect. Thank you. Jackie, do we have any other questions out there I'm missing?
No, I think you're covering it all sort of even laterally. So guys, the link to Stephen's newsletter is in the chat box. I'll post it too and pin it. Subscribing to the newsletter is free. Please do check it out. We love to see it. But otherwise, you guys covered it all. It was great.
Fantastic. Well, we want to say, let's see, Nancy had a question.
I didn't see a Nancy question.
You can unmute, Nance. Talk to your son. Have at it.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, hon. My question was, what's the best way to get more people to join your group? How do you reach out? I mean, we ask people when we meet new people at a vendor event, or we invite them in. But what's the very best way to get more people?
Sure. Great question. That was actually one of the slides on my presentation originally. It was cut for time because I was told not to put people to sleep. But here we go. We'll talk about it. I know I missed my own mother. I am literally the worst. Okay, so
my fault.
that's it. I'm gonna blame Jackie. Okay. You're already doing the most important thing, which is part of this is building that connection, and kind of by inviting people that you meet in person, that helps. And I think that makes people stronger members as part of the community. However, one of the other ways that you can do that is you can promote your group on your other social media and on your own personal Facebook page. So there is a way on Facebook to share a link to the group. And the same stuff that I said about posting regularly in your Facebook group, the same rules apply on actual Facebook, on your Facebook pages. And promoting your group, if you have one, is kind of a content pillar that you can kind of do, once a week, throw out a promotion for your group. And that will invariably expose it to more people. Especially, I think I saw somebody in here saying that they have, they give people a little bit of a break, or they do specials in their group. If you do that kind of thing and you say, look, I've got a VIP group, all the people in here get special treatment. People love special treatment, and people love to be VIPs. And that being a VIP is more important than being part of a group or a community. And so I would treat it as such. If it really talk about the benefit of being in the group with your personal page, or on your Facebook page, your business page. if your group is a really chatty community of people that kind of share similar interests, and you talk about vacations and you talk about, if you're really just like a group of friends, talk about that, because you want more people to do that. We could talk about groups that I join, right? I join things because I want to see people post pictures of Transformers they collect. I did that because I want that. Someone showed me that by saying, hey, look at this group. It's full of people that post pictures of Transformers. That's what I bought. Now, obviously, I'm not going to share that group in here. I mean, if you really want a Transformer thing, hit me up. But the idea is people will, if you tell them about what you're doing, people that are interested are going to hop on in. Or, if you give a break, then do that. And Christy with the comment, here's my streamer instincts coming in, consider having a link tree and have the link in your group. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the idea is, if you don't know what Linktree is, maybe they'll have me come back and we'll talk about it. But the idea of, I have a feeling I'm coming back anyway. I don't have a choice. They gave me a nickname. So the idea is, any way that you can, you just have to talk about your stuff, right? Just like JAFRA, right? I mean, my mom used to tell me always, every time we went somewhere and met new people, it was like the second thing she would talk to them about. I would like a Diet Coke, and what do you use for skincare, right? Like, that was just like normal for me. It didn't surprise me at all. And so, you do that with your Facebook group. It sounds super unnatural at first. I promise you, I know I'm a digital native, I'm a millennial, all that stuff. We can make fun of me, but it gets easier to promote your digital products. And if you think of your Facebook group as a product in and of itself, if you think of it that way, you're off to the races. I mean, all you people, all of y'all is what I was trying to say, know how to promote products. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here. And Paris said, what JAFRA product do I love to use? Throughout my entire life, I think I spent the entirety of my pre-teen years believing that royal jelly would make me Wolverine and that I could just regenerate limbs with it. So, and if you don't know who Wolverine is, look up Hugh Jackman. But yeah, that's it. Royal jelly is I'm pretty sure it gave me superpowers and may be responsible for why I'm alive. So
I think every time you guys had a cut, fell down, royal jelly, royal jelly, royal jelly, right? All the ladies are like, for sure. So that is absolutely true. Not just aging, but it saved everything that happened to everybody in our life. So we love that. So Stephen, Social Steve, we want to say a great big thank you, right? They're applauding like crazy out there. We do love having you. So in the chat, by the way, before any of you exit this evening, if there are specific topics that would really help you in social media, we feature them on Marketing Monday. We'll be featuring them in our regionals. Put it in there. And we certainly love, now that he's named, our JAFRA Social Steve. We absolutely love having you. So again, we say thank you so very much. We are excited. We're going to keep going and growing all of our groups. And thank you, Stephen. We wish you a great spring, and we will have you back. And thank you for your free newsletter. Please, if you didn't sign up, get it now. All right. It's in the chat.
I'm looking at my newsletter dashboard in real time. 6 people signed up. So I can tell.
We love it. We love it. And we'll be posting this on our YouTube station. We'll post it in our Facebook group in guide number 1, and we'll put the links there as well once we get all the recordings up for you. So you can just keep bringing your peeps to Social Steve. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you.